All right, welcome back, folks. To the Can We Kick It podcast? I'm your co-host Michael. I'm with Chuck. Yeah,
What up? Peace, brother.
what's going on, man? It's been a while since we've had a little podcast.
I think this is the longest we've been between podcasts, right?
Yeah,
So
I mean, I
it's
I
good to
went
be back.
31 years without having a podcast, so this is definitely the second longest stretch.
Yeah, 45, 44, 43 for me. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
We
it's
got to 100, we got to 100 real quick and then we
I think we cooled. Yeah, yeah, we had that 2 year anniversary. We had to take a break. So no, yeah, it's been pretty busy. I know you've been working a lot. I've been working a lot. You've been traveling a lot. There's a lot going on.
yeah.
It's just and it feels like a weird moment, and not weird like we had the gap from the writer strike, but I don't know. It's just not dedicated to one TV show. I mean, Tokyo Vice for sure. We'll talk about the
Mm,
shows we're watching, but I don't know. It seems like we Tokyo True Detective just finished, and we've got
yeah.
thoughts on that. And Tokyo Vice started up on season 2, and I think that's just firing on all cylinders. It's weird that it's a drop on Thursday and not a Sunday night premiere. Um,
Yeah, and
and
it's
then
all, is it on HBO directly or is it just online?
I think it's just
I don't have
online.
it, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It makes me worried about it because if they're doing the drop instead of the Sunday night premiere. It doesn't make me feel comfortable about season 3 getting picked up. I don't know what
Yeah.
Max and Warner Brothers is doing, but it just seems like they're just pushing this one out the back door. I don't know, but
I I think it's the best show that's on right now.
I agree. I,
So
I I can't name another show that's as good as this, and it just keeps getting better and better with each week.
mhm.
But yeah, we're watching Tokyo Vice. We finished True Detective. Just started Shogun on
Yeah.
Hulu FX. I've only watched the first episode. I think you watched the first two, and
Yeah. I watched the first two.
I'm kind of on the
They
fence
were,
about it to start, but I'm sure it'll get better. Not that it's bad. It's
yeah,
just it hasn't hooked me.
yeah. I think I watched the first one and I was like, "That's a good little foundation." I kind of tried to focus on it because the show so far, it's interesting because it's in English and Japanese, and the two languages that are being spoken are like there's this it's Japanese and Portuguese. I guess there's a few
Yeah,
English people there, but um, based on a book, based on a movie. Um, It's the second episode hooked me. The second
mm,
episode was really good. It um it it was definitely, I mean, it's kind of like it's a little bit of Pirates of the Caribbean, Game of Thrones. It's like power struggle, like kind of the head of the kingdom dies and his son is too young to be an heir. Um and so they set up a council of five faction ruler or five regents to rule
five
until the heir
five
is of
families.
age. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And of course, guess what? When you put five people in charge, guess what's going to happen? And
Yeah,
then you got the Portuguese Catholics and the Spanish, and basically the second episode adds a lot more context and kind of gives some background stuff that I won't go into it, but um, it's
yeah.
got
It's like the Portuguese Catholics have like established like a trading agreement with the Japanese, and the European Protestants are trying to like move into their territory, and
mhm.
like the Japanese don't know that there's other people outside there other than the Portuguese. Something just from what I'm picking up in the first episode, and so there's that bitter feud about who's going to own it. But um, yeah,
Yeah,
like
and
the
the
guy gets
second it goes,
shipwrecked. Yeah,
yeah, and the second it goes into more, you'll find out some more world outside of Japan and like why
oh, good.
Japan is inward focused on their drama. The outside world is like closing in on them.
Yeah, oh yeah, I bet. Yeah,
So, but it's, I think part of it is like fascination with kind of Tokyo Vice with Asia, right? I've been to Europe,
yeah.
I've been to Caribbean, South America. I haven't been to Asia, and there's like this fascination for me to go to Japan, at least, in Singapore and some other areas. And it's like,
Yeah.
um, so you're getting like the good visuals, and like there's a comment in the second episode that says, um, like in Europe, we think the Europeans are like the smartest and the most advanced, and then you come here to Osaka and see what they built, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
all right, we're not, So,
Yeah.
um, but it's really, I mean, I think we got a couple, with this in Tokyo Vice. You got Hiroyuki Sanada, who is also in Westworld. He kind of played a samurai um, in was it season one or Westworld when they go to
Season
in
3,
season two? I think it's two. Three was
somewhere in
the
there.
future, one of the future. So yeah, I
Mm.
mean, and then Ken Watanabe and Tokyo Vice, and you got two really great Japanese actors in these shows. But
Yeah.
I the second episode was really good. We both kind of agree so far, and even through two, the Englishman in this show's name is like John. I don't know whether something, but his real name is Cosmo Jarvis, and he's actually born in New Jersey, but is British.
Hmm.
He's kind of
Yeah.
we both joked that Mike joked that Tom Hardy should, if the Tom Hardy was playing, it'd be badass, and I agree.
I wouldn't be able to
But
understand a single word he says from like the Revenant, but like, or as Bronson, but I would be more invested if
oh,
it was Tom Hardy because I could see it just being bangers.
what about Matt Damon or Tom Cruise? Something like that. They both did
Tom Cruise
like
already did
movies.
his samurai movie.
Yeah, did Matt Damon do something like that? No, or did Tom Cruise?
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
maybe I'm
Matt
thinking
Damon
Brad
did
Pitt.
the.
Maybe I'm thinking Brad Pitt is the Mexican.
I think Matt Damon did do a movie where it was like they were fighting like monsters on the other side of the Great Wall of China.
Okay.
I can't remember
Uh,
the name of it. Yeah, but yeah, Shogun is interesting. I mean,
the
it
Great
is funny
Wall.
because
Matt
the
Damon
Great
played the
Wall.
Great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because like I have to like reset my expectations because it is like 1600s, and he's like
Yeah,
they're like pulling up to the port of Osaka, and what's his name, Rodriguez is like if
yeah.
you think that they don't know anything about building a civilization or whatever, go look at the port of Osaka, and he like goes up and it like shows a port. I'm like, that's it. I was like, where are the fucking skyscraper? Oh wait, 1600. Never mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
what am I
Oh, yeah,
doing?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That was the kind of quote I was trying to get in earlier in the first episode. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But I'm interested to see how it goes. I'm going to keep watching. It's a limited series, so I think we're
Oh, is
only
it a
going to get.
limited series? Okay.
Yeah, I don't expect to get more than 8 episodes out of it, but I'm interested. I'm interested.
Yeah,
It is nice going hand in glove with Tokyo Vice at the same time, so that is cool.
yeah. I didn't know it was going to be. I didn't pay attention, but limited series, so that kind of that it'll should keep intensifying. I mean, and after the second one, it shows like in the next coming weeks or whatever,
Mm,
and it has a lot of action, a lot of stuff. So,
nice.
um, but yeah, really good. And then Tokyo Vice is
Whew.
that's been on fire. We were 5 episodes in.
Yeah, I think we're 5 in.
How,
It's
how many
uh
episodes is the season?
10, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, I was the first episode came out and I was like, okay, it's like a 3 month time jump, and I wasn't too sure about that. Like they didn't explain it up front. And I was like, okay, maybe this isn't going to be as great as the first one. And then it really picked up.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're 5 episodes in. The last one was Illness of Trade, and it's a 10 episode. We're halfway through the season. We're halfway through.
Yeah.
And it's so
I
good.
love
This,
the whole illness of trade, and it's like because the Japanese aren't good drinkers, and in that line of work, they drink a lot, and like they're all getting liver disease, and you like they all go to this one hospital, and then they're going to this German doctor in Thailand, and like
yeah,
it obviously helps to Tozawa, but
Yep.
or we're gonna find out what maybe he went to like Elon Musk's blood boy or something. But
That's what's going to come out though, is because he was wanting to get into the U.S. And I
yeah,
didn't realize it back then because I kind of did some research about the guy he's based on during the first season, and yeah, he like the real guy like got a kidney transplant in the
mm,
U.S. and went back.
ah,
And so when they show Tozawa after he like hooks up with his mistress, that poor lady, he's got like like an abdomen scar. So I think he did get a transplant,
yeah, I bet
and
he did
he's
get
like
in the
one of the
U.S. or
first.
something. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So it'll be really interesting how they explain that because supposedly if they get the blood transfusion from the blood boys, they only get like 6 months to live, and it's like, oh, don't hang your hat on that. There's no way.
yeah. No, he's
Um,
back. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, he looks better.
So
He he's got energy now, and we see some big names moved off the board, some big pieces moved off the chessboard in this season, and it's really good, man. I was wondering where it was going, but it's back to its normal thing, and it's so great.
yeah,
Ansel Elgort
yeah.
and the guy that plays Sato and Samantha. It's just so
Sho Katamatsu. That's
Sho
like
Kanematsu.
one of my
So
favorite
good.
names. He's like so understated, like his acting style in the show.
He's
I
very
follow him on
casual.
Instagram.
Yeah.
No, I follow him on Instagram now, and he went live like this morning or yesterday. Like I don't know. I mean, obviously it's a different time there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he was just like talking, and it was all in Japanese, so I had no idea. But he was like answering questions, and like
That's
he was
so
just
cool.
playing with a piece of paper. Like I mean, he was just like it was fun. It was funny because I stayed on there for like 10 minutes. I had no idea what was said.
Yeah. Fuck
And
it. Yeah.
I put a comment. I was like, "Show," and like all the rest were in Japanese.
Hell yeah.
I'm like, all right,
I think
how
he's
do I
having
learn
fun with
this?
the role. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because like he gets to like have this power to some degree. And then like they go do karaoke and he's singing I Want It That Way. And like the guy's singing it and he's like, yo, keep it down. This is my jam. Like it's
it's
just
a
he's so
fun,
good.
it's a fun role.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that'd be. I mean, all him and Jake Adelson, like those two would be the best roles to play in the show. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Ken Watanabe has a horrible like his
Yeah.
family's
Dude.
like threatened. He's got such a rough one.
He just looks like he's never like in the show, like every episode he's in, he just looks like he hasn't slept for like 72 hours. Like every minute of the episode, he's just like dead man walking, bags under his
Yeah,
eyes. I mean, they did really good, but it's just like, oh, that's a rough role.
yeah. No, it's you could tell the toll it takes on him. That's why he's
Yeah,
such a good actor.
yeah,
Um, yeah, such good acting, good storytelling. I mean, Michael Mann did the first pilot. Did the pilot of season one. He's the executive producer.
I totally
It's got
forgot
good
that.
stuff. I still love the opening. Like I don't even skip through the opening credits with
Oh,
the tattoos and the
no way,
the.
dude. Yeah, yeah, I love that because it's like Yakuza in the '90s and like tattoos and hepatitis becoming a more known thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody said that yet, but that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and like Jake hooks up with Tozawa's girl. I mean, I isn't that like it has like I don't isn't that transferred sometimes sexually? I don't know. Anyways, but I'm just like,
yeah,
oh, this dude is just playing with fire. Like, yeah,
yeah.
but
He's about to be peeing with fire.
yeah,
He
for
goes
real.
back to
Yeah.
her. No.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's super interesting, and now they're diving more into the like his work relationships. Like I got a feeling he might be betrayed by some people at work and stuff like that. But yeah, Jake Ansel Elgort killing it. So
Yeah, I think we're about to see more of the work. And we figured out kind of that we think someone internally burned the tape, like
yeah,
um, Baku,
yep,
the bigger boss. Jake tries to help out his friend, and his friend fails and blames Jake. I think there's more. I think at some point, I imagine he seems a bit of a loose cannon, like he'll cause rifts and everything. And I don't know the whole true story, and I'm sure the show's embellished and stuff a little bit,
pretty much.
but yeah, it's such good. It's good.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, because yeah, Baku, not Baku, but his work buddy that he gave the scoop to
yeah,
that bungled it.
the
He's
baker,
like the
the baker.
yeah the baker. He's the only one that recognizes who the girl is that he brought to the embassy party, which was Tozawa's girl. That's where it's all going to go wrong, in my opinion. Is he's
Yeah,
going to pop off and say something to somebody who knows Tozawa. But anyways,
yeah,
um, it's
they
such a
do a
good
really
show.
good job. Yeah, of like not everything's there for a reason.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like it's
nothing's
not
wasted
like
in this show.
yeah, it's not like where we're gonna go next with True Detective and story arcs and
Garbage.
we were talking about something earlier where oh we were talking about Westworld too, where that in season two like the kind of um I would say Asia Town, whatever the
Samurai World, whatever it was called. I can't
Samurai
remember
World,
now.
that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was Samurai World. That kind of could have been so much better. I mean, it was in season two, and it kind of started off, and then it finished its thing, but it could have been integrated better into the show. But yeah,
Yeah,
um,
for sure.
yeah. So what else do you watch in Tokyo Vice?
Tokyo Vice.
Shogun starting.
Yeah, Shogun starting. Let's see. You've been watching Resident Alien, yeah?
Yeah, it's so good. It's so so. The other night, this is a testament of how like I don't know how this show isn't more popular because I'll walk by it sometime, and I guess it's a. I mean, it's on Sci-Fi Network, so I mean that's one. But like, this could have been like a sitcom on NBC or something like in the 2000s. Like, it's really Blanco. Most of them will walk by my shows and be like, "No, this is gross," or like, "This is too this," or "This is," but never turn it off. And she likes all the old formatted style, like she
Hmm,
watched like the Blacklist and all the like the normal
yeah.
network type TV shows, How I Met Your Mother and Modern Family and all, like so like there's been two shows where she's done this, like with Righteous Gemstones. She didn't watch the first season or the second, and then the last like season she like sat down and watched one episode while I was watching it, and then she started watching every episode.
Yeah.
In Resident Alien this season, she's like watched like two of the three complete episodes. Like just like first time was like I'd hear her laughing like she's in the cooking in the kitchen, and then like the last one she sat down and watched, and I'm like, okay, so this it's a very kind of like you don't need to. I mean, there's a storyline, but you don't necessarily need to know
Yeah.
like everything that's happening to jump right in.
Yeah.
But um, it's it's just funny. I mean, even now it's getting like a little serious. The first season was just kind of really goofy,
Yeah.
but it's a good show. It's I enjoy it.
Yeah,
Marcos and I,
you shared me some clips like talking about the
moon titties.
moon titties. That's a lot of
I showed
sheetrock.
that to Blanca because I'm like, he's like, hey, it got Arby's on the backside of the moon next to a strip club. It's like she started and like look at all that drywall. Like it's just so
So great.
the sheriff is so stupidly funny.
That's so funny.
But yeah, and then
Yeah, I got to get caught up on Resident Alien. I haven't watched it since the first season, so I got to jump into it.
did you the only other thing I've been watching is doing a rewatch of The Leftovers, which I'm on. I
Mm,
just almost finished season two, and did you ever you started that or no?
I can tell you where I'm at. I'm at season 1, episode 7.
Okay,
So I gotta just sit down and just plow through. It's such a slow burn show that I gotta sit there and let it like eke into me because it's like it's heavy, dude.
it's the heaviest fucking shit. Every time I watch it, I mean, I've rewatched it now like 10 plus times. It's so fucking heavy. And the first season is not. I wouldn't say the most I mean, it's cohesive, but it's super dark and super heavy.
Yeah.
And the entrance or the credit music reflects that. And the second and third are like it's kind of like stages of grief, and the first one is like the initial reaction to 2% of the world, and
Yeah.
then the second season is more about people like trying to find to move on and feel safe, and the third is like you know facing their own demons and mortality. Like, but it's the super. It's you have to if you want to watch comedies and like you're not gonna be able to because it's fucking deep. Like
Yeah.
it's intense. Like that was when Blanca walked by. I was this is definitely something I don't want to watch. Like I've
Yeah.
dealt with enough like grief. Like like all right. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember
but
like having after like a drunken night on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, coming back to the hotel and turning on the TV, and it was like an episode of The Leftovers, and I was like, "What the fuck is?" And I fucking changed it. I was like, "That's gonna make me jump out the window." Good God, yeah, it's heavy,
yeah,
but
it's like
it's great though. Yeah,
it's Damon Lindelof from Lost, Patrick Somerville also from Station 11. Um, I mean those two were, and then Tom Perrotta who wrote the book that it's based on. I mean those were the executive producer, the main executive and co-executive producers. But everybody, that's why it's Damon Lindelof. So the questions are like, is this real? Did this event? And it basically boils down to there's like one supernatural event at the beginning, and then you're supposed to determine everything else that happens is not. I mean, to
yeah,
be just life, but everybody is expecting it to be lost, kind of. But
yeah,
so,
yeah. It's good.
anything else that you're watching?
Yeah, I mean, some network television, The Rookie,
Golden
FBI.
Bachelor.
No, oh God, no. I'm waiting for the Golden Bachelorette. That's what I'm waiting on.
That's right. Find a sugar mom on there.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Amazon.
Mm,
I'm
how was that?
we're like two episodes in. It's really good, man. Donald Glover and what's her name? Maya Erskine. If I said her last name right, but it's really good. Yeah, it's a kind of a spoof on the movie, but it's much more like realistic and down to earth than the movie was. Um,
Yeah,
and then on top of
I
that,
like Donald Glover, of course,
oh, dude, yeah,
because
he's pretty good in this, yeah. And then the other is Curb Your Enthusiasm, season 12. It's the final season, and R.I.P. Richard Lewis just died, and he was
I
he was
saw
in the
that.
show and best friends with Larry David for over 50 years. So I'm sure tonight's the first episode since, so I'm sure they'll have some
Mm.
in memoriam thing. So it'll be interesting. But it's funny as always, man. It's just great stuff. And then that kind of leads us into, I don't know if you're watching anything else, but then that kind of leads us into the abortion that the end of True Detective Night Country was.
Yeah, let's talk about that because I'd like to go to bed sometime tonight before midnight, but
Yeah, yeah.
we could talk about this abortion of a season.
So
And I say
bad.
that as there was some good parts and there were some
Yeah,
good episodes, and I guess I was half right what was going to happen,
you were. Yeah,
which like shocking, but
yeah.
so can I just give a little synopsis real quick? So
Go for it.
we went through a whole, we went through 6 episodes to find out that a conglomerate of white and native cleaning ladies herded the scientists out into ice and gave them a choice to live or die and folded their clothes because the cleaning lady discovered the three finger cleaning lady discovered that the secret layer, and that's where Annie K was killed by the scientist, which we learned the scientist killed Annie K, and the cleaning ladies killed the scientist.
The most ridiculous two murders I've ever seen.
even just the setup of, oh, Annie K was dating Clark, the scientist, and somehow he lets, or she finds out that there's a secret cave underneath there, or secret lair that the scientist, which, why would the scientist need to have a secret underground thing to work out of when no one would know what it is?
Exactly.
So, and
They
then
know you're doing
NEK
core
just,
samples. Why you got to hide the shit? I don't under. Yeah, yeah,
NEK like starts destroying files, like they would, like she would know what any of that is.
and
Like
that's the source of the problem.
like they don't have this on a backup drive, like what they were trying to do. Like there was, and we learned that the lab basically told the mind, the scientist told the mind to pollute more because it helps extract this like live forever agent out of the permafrost or curing cancer. Now I had a let me ask you a question. If the scientists had found the cure for cancer or the secret to immortality or whatever was in this permafrost, isn't that worth one life? I mean, like, I mean,
You'd like to
sorry, I hate
think.
to say that, but it's like,
I mean,
but
yeah,
I mean, I don't even know how to, like, what was the point? Hank, Russian girlfriend. What was the point of the trailer with all the season one like dolls hanging from it?
voodoo in the
What was the
ceiling
point of the
and
circle? What was the point of Travis Cole? What was the point of fucking? Immediate lost interest in the final when they said like time is a flat circle or whatever. Is that what he said? What someone
yeah,
said something like McCon, and I'm
Clark
like,
did in the last
yeah,
episode. It was the biggest bait and switch in television history. Like, folks, this is why we waited so long to do this podcast, is because we were having to get our thoughts together. This is part of the reason why behind this show, because we were all into it. Like, it was pretty good all the way through, like Hank getting killed for killing the crack dude, and then like making his son like get rid of the bodies. And then the last episode just goes off the fucking rails. And they just like start explaining everything like it's the murder on the Orient Express. Spoiler alert, if anybody's ever seen that, watch the play, read
yeah,
the book, whatever. That basically everybody's in on the murder of this one person. So like Annie K goes down to the secret lair where they're doing core samples. Why you need a secret cave is beyond me. Such a ridiculous premise. She like is destroying the samples because she somehow read notes on in Clark's cabin because she's got a background in astrophysics that she can understand pollution ratios. Just saying. And then like all of the scientists walk in and just like Caesar her and just start stabbing her and kicking
yeah,
the shit out of her. Like everybody would go in on that. That makes no sense whatsoever.
yeah. I don't. Yeah, like you would at least have one or two of these genius, nerdy scientists that would be like not involved in
Like, oh my
fucking
god, I'm throwing
murder.
up. I'm gonna go back up the
And
ladder,
it,
and you guys just did what you
yeah,
did, and I wanted
it,
nothing to do. What?
and at the like Clark is the last one like to finish her off, and it's like, wait, you were in a relationship with this person?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, and yeah. I would
I
never
could,
hurt her. Yeah,
yeah, I could get one rogue scientist like the guy that turned into monster zombie, Lund. Uh, okay, maybe he went in like and did that, and Clark tried to stop it, and he's like, "I'll kill all you motherfuckers."
that's what he
And
should have done. That's how it should have been. Is Clark went down there to stop Andy from doing it.
yeah,
One scientist, Lund, comes down there and is like, "Oh my god, what the hell are you doing down here?" Stab, stab, stab. Clark, don't ever tell anybody else about this, or I'll fucking kill you. That's it.
yeah, yeah, and so like, and then there's still the lingering aspect of the supernatural stuff, which
Yeah.
none of the killing was supernatural, but like I've been reading, you know, people shitting on it and or asking questions, like and Issa Lopez responding and being like, "She was there." It's like, what do you mean she was there? Like,
Yeah. So
Ghost Annie
when
K, like what? Like
when Clark
Clark
had
saw
his
Annie
fucking
K's ghost, and then
yeah. So like when Clark had his
ghost
fucking
first
seizure
before the cleaning lady.
before like the beginning of the episode where Clark has a seizure, like he sees something and he's like, oh, she's awake. He supposedly saw Navarro. Like my interpretation of what she's talking about is
Or
it's
Annie
like
K.
yeah, it's like some four-dimensional bullshit time travel. I don't know. Anyways, um, it's so ridiculous that everything that was referenced from season one, whether it was the Tuttle Corporation, Time is a Flat Circle, Travis Cole, the Spiral, that was all bullshit to get people who watched season one
Hmm.
to watch it because they couldn't come up with anything original on their own to make the shit interesting. The Spiral wound up only
Yeah,
meaning thin ice, like the Tuttles just are a conglomerate that are evil. Travis Cole is a dancing ghost. I it was all bait and switch, and for Isa Lopez and all these people to say that we didn't like it because a woman made it, fuck off. I didn't like it because it was
yeah.
a shit season. That's what I think, man. And
It
how would the cleaning
it
women have known that all the scientists were involved? How the fuck would they know that?
Yeah, they don't. And well, because Annie K's ghosts were like came to them in a dream. I don't. I mean, I get, but I get if you're gonna have the supernatural element and all that, and you know, maybe that exists in that community. But we didn't really get told that there was. We need. You know what? I think if there's 10 episodes,
Yeah,
this may be good. Like
yeah.
you
You
can't.
flesh it out.
True Detective season one was 10 episodes.
Yeah.
So you had time to listen to Woody and Matt and get to know their backstory as much as you can, get to know what drives them and understand what they're dealing with.
I
And
got to watch
this,
Woody
you,
Harrelson get jealous that Alexandra Daddario's dancing with another dude, and then he like
yeah,
winds
when
up
he's
banging the.
married and like,
Yeah.
he's, and, and he's married to Michelle Monaghan, who's also very attractive.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it's just, but you were in that world. Like, besides the scenery, I never felt in that world. I mean, it kind of knew the three fingered crab lady was going to be involved because they would have her walk into a room like for no reason, like walk into the laundromat or walk
Yeah.
in, you know, they kept going to her in the beginning because her boyfriend beat her up or, but let's get this way. The white woman with red hair keeps getting her face beat in by the husband. And the cleaning ladies are like, we'll let that slide, but not the scientist. I don't
His
like.
his, his time's not yet up yet.
Maybe when he starts seeing ghosts of somebody,
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, the cleaning ladies
but
now they've formed a posse, and they're gonna go out and they're gonna have themselves a good old fashioned ice, a popsicle of scientists, and
yeah,
they're gonna leave it up to Sedna to decide whether or not they live or die. And like we're just supposed to like, okay, is this Fight Club? Like, are they like the backbone of society, and now they're like saying fuck everybody else? Like,
yeah,
I don't like. I didn't. It felt rushed. It made no sense. It felt
yeah.
very ham jammed together. And then yeah, and then
It,
Navarro and Danvers are like, we get it. They killed Annie K. Murder's okay.
so so what? So we've shit on it pretty well, which
Yeah,
deservedly so.
yeah.
What were some positives and your favorite parts or favorite scenes of the season?
But the first episode was great. It was a great
Yeah,
setup. We get nightfall's coming. We see all the caribou run off the cliff. Um, I
which
think
we
from
don't know why that like
yeah,
we figured maybe that was something like there. I mean, did the caribou normally jump off a cliff like when the beginning of the long night's coming? Like, but
yeah. You
there was
got
a lot of
that.
pointless. Yeah, there was a lot. That was a cool scene, but there's a lot of pointless
Yeah, it was like,
scenes in
oh
this.
shit, that was shocking. Okay, that had nothing to do with. anything. It was a red herring. I mean, it was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
yeah. Um, and then I really enjoyed the second to last episode where Hank, which ridiculously, I'm just gonna keep shitting on it, but like the whole like exchange with Hank at Danvers' place with
yeah,
Rudolph Hess, and then he like Hank gets capped. That whole
yeah,
sequence, like we were like, oh shit, this season is like unbelievable. And then
yeah.
it just takes a caribou left hand turn and goes right off the cliff.
Well, I think part of it we wanted it to be better than it was, and
Yeah.
episode 5 was good, was one of the better ones. But even in there, like some of it doesn't like we don't know the only background we get basically between Hank and Pete Pryor of their father son stuff is Hank saying he rescued his son from falling in the ice. What was that?
I have no idea. Did you see that?
It
Chuck
was
just
like,
all of a sudden had a thumbs down right next to his
oh,
head.
you know what that was? Probably no. I'm not even at the. I bet that was fucking Annie K, dude. Like she's awake. Shit, I'm not even touching anything. I don't know what happened there.
Issa
Um,
Lopez's ears must be burning. She's like, fuck y'all's podcast. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So, but I think, I mean, like, I'll get some negative things real quick and then switch to
yeah.
positive. Like, I
Yeah.
love Christopher Eccleston, which he's in The
Fantastic.
Leftovers.
Yep.
He was in 2 scenes, basically just having sex, or 3 scenes, but 2 of them were just to have sex with Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
Um, I think Hank, our with John Hawkes, our boy, like was way underused. Like, but he's always good, and it was interesting to see him as kind of like a bad guy. I mean, because I only know him from Eastbound and Down. Um, and then, but I think Navarro was really good. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
she's basically
Yeah.
like a boxer who became an actor, and I thought she was like the breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And the daughter was pretty good.
Yep.
So I mean, I think there are some positives to come out of it. I mean, Jodie Foster is Jodie Foster, but like they really didn't give them great dialogue to work with. Um,
No.
it was the writing was kind of shitty, and Issa Lopez was confirmed. Season 5 was confirmed with Issa Lopez again. So what is that? I get, but the got huge ratings. But I think if anything is, if Reddit is an indicator of anything, people were hate watching it because I could not find a positive thread about the show the entire
It's
season.
true.
Even
It's
like
true.
we liked episode 5, they were shitting on it all over the place on Reddit, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Early
that's
on
all
in the
right.
season, people were shitting on it, and we were like, this is a pretty great season. And then it just, I don't know. It had great elements, right? I like Jodie Foster, I like Navarro, but I liked all these certain elements. I like the background of it being Alaska and there's like 2 weeks at night. And you make it all this scary stuff, but like pick a lane. Either you want it to be like supernatural or you want it to be like a detective drama
Yeah,
thing. And that's a great thing about the
it,
first season. And the first season is the holy grail of TV. So it's really hard to compare.
yeah,
But you had the supernatural, but you also had the reality, but you it mixed into like this folklore
yeah,
bayou fucked
yeah,
up shit. Because even like,
yeah,
I'm supposed to like assume that like the head of the plant in this season is bad. Sure, okay. And then Christopher Eccleston is supposed to be like he's supposed to be like Billy Ray Tuttle, where he's supposed to be like a preach. He's supposed to be a pure guy who's further up the food chain, but it turns out he's just corrupt and all this shit. It's very
yeah,
like poorly developed. Whereas like Billy Ray Tuttle's
yeah,
like the head of this church, and he's supposed to think he's all like good and everything, and then it turns out he's like covering up like hundreds of years of like family molestation and stuff like that.
yeah.
Like you make it like
I mean,
really
which is kind
fucked
of how
up.
the church came up. The Catholic Church turned out as well. Like, I mean, with the whole um whatever story that was that the movie was made out of with Mark
Oh,
Ruffalo, uh,
I
like the
watched
Church
that
in
movie
Boston
too.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of it now. But
yeah,
yeah, it had great elements. I don't want to completely shit. I don't want to shit on the actors in the show. Like even like
Yeah.
uh Pete, like who played Hank's son, did pretty good, and he had to deal. He had to he was kind of everybody's bitch and all that kind of stuff. Half expecting him to be the
Yeah.
murderer, but I don't know. They just took a left turn and nothing wove together. Nothing made entire sense. So I'm going to shut on because I didn't like the ending. It had great elements, but I
Yeah.
didn't like the ending, and that's just me. And apparently, about a couple thousand people on Reddit. So, but am I going to watch the
Yeah.
next season? I mean, it is True Detective. I'm going to have
Of
reservations
course we're
going
gonna
in right
watch
off the
it.
bat. Yeah, but I'm gonna be just expecting it to be shit going right in. So, um, question for you because we posed this question multiple times in the office and with Marcos. Change the name, take out True Detective, and just call it Night Country. And are we shitting on this show that badly?
I think you take out the elements of take
Season
out
one.
all the references to season one. You do 8 to 10 episodes where you can develop the characters, and it's produced by HBO. And you take it out, or you have it separate and call it Night Country. I would watch it,
Yeah,
and
I'd watch it.
we wouldn't be shit on. We probably wouldn't be shitting on it as bad. But it's I think as we saw here. I mean, because you think about it, the first season was TV heaven,
Yeah,
like
Pinnacle.
the cream of the
Yeah,
crop,
yeah,
pinnacle of TV. Second season, nobody liked because it was nothing like the first one, whether it's good or bad. Third season took place in Mississippi, kind of unreliable narrator with the um, older guy retelling the story from a long time ago, Mahershala Ali. It was pretty good. And then this fourth season went off the rails. And it's, I think you've got to kill the, I mean, we're confirmed for season five, but I think you've got to kill the franchise because you're never going to get to the height of the first one. And I can't see it going on for much longer. Like,
how how do
but
you try
you
to
like,
wring money out of something when at this point you're just wringing your own blood out of trying to make something great that's not great?
yeah, well, that's why I mean Nick Pizzolatto is shitting all over it too because he was in charge of the first three, and then he handed over the reins and was like, basically, you're turning my masterpiece into this. And but I mean, he's saying that, but he's still getting the executive producer cut from the high ratings and shit in the deal
Yeah,
with HBO. So
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, but um, I think you said it best too in a text to me that you could just do The Outsider as True Detective season four, and it would have been better. So
Yeah. Trade this season four with the one, God only knows why, one season of The Outsider. I get why.
yeah,
It had great elements. Uh,
it's a book, right? And it's a book based
yeah,
on a Stephen King novel, but
yeah. And they had set it up that there would be a season two to some degree, but you take The Outsider, which had Jason Bateman and so many other people. I can't remember names right now. But you take that and you tell me that's True Detective season four. It already beats out this season of
yeah,
the actual True Detective. Yeah, um, because it tied things up nicely. Did it end the way I wanted it to end? Not necessarily, but
yeah,
it was a better season than this. Yeah. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, but yeah,
yeah.
I could go on for another hour shitting on this season.
Well, usually you and I are pretty positive about the things we're watching because when we choose to watch something, we usually kind of fits our norm or if we're going to invest time in something, we end up understanding what we're getting out of it. But
I
this
think
is
we're
one of
pretty.
the
I think we're pretty
it,
honest about some of the shows that we watch. Like For All Mankind, we
we
know
are,
it's not great, but we
yeah,
enjoy it. But we
you
recognize
know
great TV when it's there, like
that
Succession.
is true. Like, yeah, so we're like, okay, we love For All Mankind, the space race, alternative history. Is it great? No. And
No.
it's funny because another show I forgot to list, and this is how irrelevant apparently it was to me, even though I liked it. Invasion season 2, I didn't have on my even list of shows I watched last year, and I watched it last year. Look up Reddit for Invasion.
Yeah.
It's like basically called the worst show in history, like on all the Reddit, and I'm like, like people are hate watching it at this point. They're just watching it because they hate it so bad. I'm like, I thought it was pretty good. Like, but it's more I enjoyed it. But as I start to think when people pick it apart, but I
Oh,
mean,
sure.
look, we're two chubby dudes from Houston that have a podcast where we talk about TV, right? So everybody's a critic now, and
Yeah.
everybody but that's I mean, that's why I think you and I, we both when we recommend something, we put caveats with it. Just
Yeah.
when people say like, "What's your favorite show?" Okay, my favorite comedy, my favorite drama, my favorite comedy drama, my favorite, what I mean, because like I might say The Leftovers is my favorite show, but I'm not going to recommend it to Blanca because she doesn't want to watch a show 3 seasons about fucking demoralizing grief and like
Soul crushing
it's
grief of
soul
just three
crushing. Yeah,
seasons.
it. But like, and I'm gonna I'll talk about Ted Lasso because guess what? She's gonna like it because there's an
Right.
uplifting message in every episode.
Yeah.
Do I like it as much as a lot of people? No, because I'm cynical and negative. I love it, but like watch it more for the soccer. Remember when we were reviewing it in the first, and
Yeah.
I'm like, the soccer sucks. There's not a soccer, and like
Yeah.
so. Um,
Every
but it's
show is a piece of Swiss cheese. We can poke the holes in it if we want.
yeah,
I just choose to poke holes
it's
in the shit that I don't like, and you do the same. And just like with True Detective season 4, I poked more holes in this show I think than any other show I've watched.
like like the True Detective season 1. I saw someone like I finally found a plot hole with the season 1, and they were like, would Marty? It was like Marty or no, like leaving Alexander Dario for or cheating on Megan Monaghan with, it's like that's not a plot hole. See, anybody would do that, but it's like it's two beautiful women, one younger, one older. Like, or
Yeah.
it was like something about her. Did you know what I'm talking? Did you see that?
Yeah. I saw it.
Or did I?
It was like, how was she?
Yeah,
Disgusting. And it's like
yeah,
plot
yeah,
hole. Yeah.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
only flaw in
Yes,
season
that's
one.
what it was.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
saw that.
that was
Oh
great. I
shit.
love Reddit.
Yeah.
That's why you love Reddit right there, because it's like,
Oh yeah.
but, but yeah, there's you can poke holes in anything, and not, I recommended. I can't remember the show to a friend. They're like, yeah, I didn't really like it, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, how do you not like that? It's a great show, but everybody has different.
Everybody has different taste. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
know, my buddy Aaron, was watching Tokyo Vice,
the ten
fucking
splitter
hated Session. He
hated
was,
Succession.
yeah, he's like, okay, the kids are always trying to fuck their dad over. What else is supposed to happen? And I'm like, I get some people are like, yeah, it's repetitive and all that. It's a great show in my opinion, but
Well, if you
not
think
everybody's
about
taste is the same.
Succession, on a 30,000 feet level, like
Sure.
Aaron presented to you, yeah, it's kind of dumb. You're just watching for
Yeah.
4 seasons, four rich kids wait for their dad to die so one of them can take over, and at the end he dies and none of them get the company.
And none of
But
them
they're
get it.
still, but they're still rich at the end of the day. I mean,
Yeah.
like, but it's, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you think about, I mean, that's why sometimes you can't think logically.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm watching a TV show about an alien who crash landed and took over some guy's body, and now he's a town doctor. Like,
Yeah.
okay, great. Like, but I mean, it's
I
yeah.
have
I
a
mean,
I
but
have a
it's
bad
all
I have a bad habit of like poking holes in like TV shows Jackie's watching, and I have to remember like I shouldn't like poke holes in people's imagination with my reality.
there you go. That's
You
perfect.
know? Yeah.
Same thing because like Blanca listen to podcasts and a lot of like self improve. I call it self help, like self improvement and other stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna steal that phrase you use because like I'm always trying to poke holes in these things, and I'm like, all right, what Must be nice. She watches my shit and puts up with, you know,
Right? Yeah,
that. So,
yeah.
but
No, I totally agree. Everybody's got different tastes. They put up with us, but yeah, I think I will hate watch season 5 of True Detective. Just going in
we'll
with
be right there.
reservations of hate. Yeah, we'll be there for everybody else. But yeah, anything else you're watching? I didn't. It's pretty
No,
much
I
covered
think
it
that was
all.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to. I thought, you know, I watched Saturday Night Live like last night. Sydney Sweeney
Hmm.
did great. Josh Brolin is hosting next week, so I'm
Interesting.
wondering if Outer Range is. Did we have a date on Outer Range coming
I
back?
think June 13th.
June. Okay, that's
So they're
interesting
probably
that he's on there now. He must have something else in
well.
the works.
They might be starting to fire up the marketing campaign. That might be the deal. Yeah, because I don't know of any movie that he's in at the moment.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I didn't catch Sydney Sweeney on SNL.
May, Outer Range in May.
Oh, it's in May. Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah, we're only like 2 months out. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's why it doesn't have an exact date. It says May,
May 24th. Yeah.
but it's interesting. It was released in April of 15th of 2022. It'd be
Hmm.
2 fucking years. I guess a writer strike. So yeah,
Yeah. Guess that's part of it. I don't think they knew where to take it. I think that's part of the deal. Like
I
they were
think
like, "Where the
they've been
fuck do we go from
like,
here?" Like,
how do we go anywhere from here?
yeah. Oh, dude, I get it's
And
that's a rewatch. That's gonna be a
yeah,
rewatch.
all right, we gotta rewatch it here soon
Yeah.
and talk about it.
I just remember things that happened and I'm like, "Oh yeah, oh my god, yeah."
Anyway,
So,
the mountain that like shapeshifts and like in the buffalo like showing up and with the
the
buffalo.
rock with the shit in it, the magical
Yeah,
shit in it,
yeah.
and then like Wendy's
Imogene
brother like
Putin
disappears at the end, and yeah, it's there's so much that goes
fucking
on in
hole
that.
in the middle of the field.
Yeah, what? Yeah, dude.
we just we just completely glanced over the
Oh yeah, and his name is Rawl. Yeah,
raw dog.
Rawl doll.
All right,
Oh
I think it's
shit.
time.
Yeah,
No mas,
we're getting
no mas.
we're getting hysterical. Yeah, but
No
appreciate everybody for
problema para me.
yeah, appreciate everybody for kicking it with us this week. We had a little break, but yeah, tune in next week. We'll be talking Tokyo Vice. I'm sure Shogun some more, some Resident Alien, and then we'll talk. We'll talk Outer Range and we'll prep up for that. There's some other shows coming, but nothing crazy at the moment on my calendar. So tune in next week. Check out the podcast platform. Check out the website, Kicking the Media. And as cousin likes to say,
Cougars. We're talking about the Cougars.